Are you ready?
Are you ready?
For a podcast hosted by George T.
Who the hell are you?
I am the movie geek.
Who are you?
I am the movie geek.
You are such a geek.
Thank you.
And now, on with the show.
It's time!
It's showtime.
It's showtime. Here we go.
Welcome into the Movie Geek Podcast. My name is George T. I am your host for this. And I want to thank everyone, first off, for the response to me uploading onto YouTube. It has been very interesting to say the least. I am much appreciated by your responses to this podcast. So I appreciate that so much. That's the first thing I want to get off my chest here today. I do have a few movie reviews. I don't have any trailers to look at. I know I promised the Marvel one, but I think I want to wait on this one because I'm going to incorporate it later on into the Marvel Universe one that I'm doing as a special one. So, with that being said, let's get to the news right away. So, I've got good news. So, I will be having a guest on very soon. And I used her a couple of weeks ago. We were corresponding back and forth. And as soon as I get a little bit more details, I will bring them to you. She is very talented, and she's won numerous awards. I know she's not mainstream, but is definitely somebody to support. I'm going to link her YouTube channel to mine so that you can check her out. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea for independent, but we have to support independent filmmakers and actors. I think she's definitely one that you guys should follow if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So I've got that working right now, so I'm very happy about that. Boston is coming up this weekend, and I have yet to hear from some of the reps of the people that I want to try to interview, so I am hoping that it is just a delay, and I will find out maybe by the end of the week, or maybe even by the time the con is, to see if I can get interviews with even one of the people that I want to. So I'll be shooting a lot of B-roll stuff, and I'll be taking a lot of pictures, and obviously I will get to meet the stars. It is just a matter of will I be able to interview them as well. And then, so that's Friday and Saturday. Sunday, we are doing the Rhode Island Anime Con on Father's Day. My son and I, George, Ashley, and even AJ is going to get to his first one. So that will be interesting on Father's Day. Sorry about the birds in the background. They're just in the house. So it's fine. All right. So we got a lot of news today. Like I said, I've got a few reviews coming up, and they're not all that good. So one is definitely okay. The other two, not so much. But we'll get into that. So first thing with the news, and I have been into documentaries lately. I know that some people are into them, some people aren't. But there is a documentary that I'm going to be very interested in, coming very soon to Hulu, called Brats. This has been filmed by Andrew McCarthy from Rat Pack, and it just entails the entire Brat Pack, how they felt about things, uh, and so on. It really does look good. Um, I got to meet most of the Brat Pack in Rhode Island last year. Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, Andrew McCarthy, Anthony Michael Hall. And they were all very, very nice people. I got pictures and stuff. So on the YouTube side, I'll be able to upload those so you can get to see those pins. So I am actually looking forward to that because that was my era of obviously movie watching. There were so many good films with them in it. So you know, I'm very, very curious as to see what that is going to be about. All right, let's also get into the weekend's box office. Last weekend, it was Bad Boys, Ride or Die, 56 million. I'm actually surprised by that number, just because I wasn't sure that a fourth installment of Bad Boys was going to make that much money, but apparently people were out to see it. Again, I said this, I think it was last week. I kind of hope this is kind of done. It's a franchise that is done very well, but I think a franchise that could probably just it's my opinion. I will get to see the movie soon, so I'll have a review of that. But for right now, 56 million. That's a lot of money. That's a good haul for that movie. Number two, which was last week's number one, was Garfield. It made $10 million. Again, another film I really didn't think there was going to be an appetite for, but there was an appetite for it, and still is. Holding strong at number three was If, $8 million. Ryan Reynolds continues to do well at the box office, and with Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine, that's going to do a huge number. I will predict a number that weekend. Remember, I really missed on Dune. I thought it was going to do a lot bigger, but it didn't. And again, my overzealousness was thinking that it was going to be huge. Back in the day when movie theaters were mostly where most people got to see their movies, they would actually go and see them there. Anyway, number four was The Watchers, a very disappointing 7 million for The Watchers. So all M. Night Shyamalan has to do with Trap is make 7.1 million, and he wins the box office for the Battle of the Shyamalans when Trap comes out. Also, number five, which was number four last week, holding strong, is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes still making good money at 5.4 million. Furioso dropped from second to sixth. I will be seeing that soon. And Fall Guy, not falling very hard. It only fell 2 spots to number 7, which was a really good movie. I mentioned that last week's episode, so definitely check that out. If you haven't seen it yet, or alright, some more news. Amazon has announced that a Blade Runner TV series is coming out. It's going to be set in 2099, so 50 years after the second. Honestly, I don't know about this. Blade Runner 2049 was okay. It wasn't the original Blade Runner. Blade Runner was an amazing movie. Harrison Ford, Sean Young, Rocket Power, and I don't know. I know we're just bouncing on things that kind of gone the way of the dodo. I think in Hollywood, we're just trying to revive things. And again, I know I have my things that I like that are trying to be revived, like Aliens is one of my all-time favorite genre movies. And I want to see what more that was out there. And Star Wars is another one. I know there's a lot of other, franchises that I just don't see the point of continuing. I know they had mentioned uh, recently that uh, another Scream movie was in the works, but now it's kind of not. Again, how many more times can you retell the story of Ghostface, or how much more interesting can it get? Example, Saw 11 coming out this year. Uh, honestly, it just I'll see them, no doubt about it. Again, uh, there's a lot of things that just don't continue on. So, news coming out, more news coming out, excuse me, about Badlands, which is the Prey sequel. Prey was a Predator movie on Hulu, and it took place in 1719. It was a very fascinating Predator movie, probably right up there with the actual original Predator movie for me, as far as uh, watchability. So this is the 7th movie now that has been credited with Predator. We all remember the first one with Arnold and Carl Weathers, and that was a hit. And there was the money grab, absolute bomb of Predator 2 that took place in LA. I mean, you had some good actors in it, obviously. Danny Glover and uh, Bill Paxton. But when you put Morton Downey Jr., and I know Morton Downey Jr. was the big hit of that era with his slanderous talk show and everything else, and then Gary Busey. So again, it's just absolute trash. Then you had the Alien Predator crossover. There were 2 movies in that crossover, and then you had Adrian Brody in Predators, and then you had Olivia Munn and a bunch of comedians. Michael Kay was in there. Just it was crazy, but it was called Predator, and so there's a lot of Predator movies out there, but Prey and the original Predator movies are on my list of really worth watching. So this one will be a sequel to that. It will also take place during that time. Amber Midthunder was the lead in the original She's Back, which marks the first time a recurring character is coming back for Predator. Obviously, Predator 2 did not have Arnold in it, so Alien vs. Predator was told from a different perspective. It was done from comic books, so obviously there wasn't that many carryover from that. And then obviously the other 2 were kind of reboots or adaptations of Predator. So look for that coming on Hulu soon, probably I think early 2025 at the moment. So, but I'll definitely keep you informed of that. Moana 2 trailer drop. I won't show it just yet, but this has the bragging rights as the most recorded download of any Disney trailer so far. Okay, all right. I've actually never seen Moana. Obviously, George is 15, so obviously he wouldn't be interested in it. But I know my brother's daughter definitely Moana, so I'll kind of play on that, and we'll come up with something in a later one. Also, A24 has picked up the U.S. rights to Death of Robin Hood. This will star Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer. No time frame yet has been announced for this, but the U.S. rights to this. There's a bunch of other countries that are doing have picked up rights to it. It's kind of weird, but A24 has been doing a lot of really good movies lately. Obviously, going to talk about it again. Civil War, definitely best picture so far, and I don't see anything coming down the pipe. Maybe, just maybe, if Deadpool and Wolverine, I know it's not Oscar worthy because superhero movies don't get that award. That might be my number one for the year at the year end. When I make my top 25 or top 10. I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out, but I will. But anyway, A24 has picked that up, so that definitely looks like something Jackman, Joey Homer, definitely good actor, so definitely worth seeing. Henry Cavill is no longer, obviously, Superman, and I will talk about this in detail when I do my DC Universe is Dead. Sorry, James Gunn. I know you came over from Marvel and with this, and DC decided, hey, you know what, we want to match Marvel now. We tried with the DC extended universe. Well, now we're going to do our own universe. You're going to be in charge. Now, Gunn, obviously, famous Marvel director for Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it really going to happen? Is he really going to be able to turn this over? I guarantee you it's not going to happen. But, hey, whatever. Okay, so I digress anyway. Henry Cavill is the main man in the highly anticipated, I don't know about this, but Highlander movie. We're going to reboot this Highlander stuff again. It's incredible. Again, we've talked about this over and over again about rebooting things. I know Henry Cavill is a huge star. My girlfriend Ashley has a little crush on him. It's fine. Whatever. So he is now going to be the Highlander instead of Superman. Honestly, I didn't mind him being Superman. I don't know why he is not part of James Gunn's Superman, but it is what it is. So, but he was good in Ungentleman Warfare. So this movie is going to be slated for 2026. So we got some time to get more information and stuff like that. But right now, Henry Cavill, the Highlander. There's that. Then this bit of news, and I found this very interesting. These are two film franchises that can't be any more different, other than the one thing that links them. They're Hasbro Child's Toys. I'm talking about G.I. Joe Transformers. So, obviously, 80s kid and huge movie guy. I do have all the Transformers movies, the original cartoon one. G.I. Joe was another cartoon that I followed very closely. A few of those. I do have the movie. So this crossover is very interesting, and this came about, and I don't know why or how this is going to work. But at the end of Transformers Rise of the Beasts, there was an interesting little nugget that they were going to drop about crossing over with G.I. Joe. Now, G.I. Joe has had not very good success live. We had the original one and then the second one with Dwayne Rock Johnson. Neither one got off to any kind of a hot start. They were really trying to hope that they could make this into a franchise like they did with Transformers. Michael Bay did so much for Transformers that they continued it without him after a while. So, how these two franchises can make this happen and for Hasbro, they're really hoping that G.I. Joe gets this reboot and continue to flourish like Transformers did. Again, I don't know how this is going to work, but maybe it will. Maybe it will. And you know what? I'm there for it if it does. I am. As much as I was a huge Transformers, watcher, and G.I. Joe. Those are my two, favorite. I don't know. It's a very interesting uh, concept, and I just hope that it will get pulled off. I just don't know how it's going to get pulled off. So that's kind of the interesting twist to this whole thing. So look for more information as I can gather it. And obviously, this won't be happening anytime soon. I'm guessing 2025, 26, maybe even. So that is basically the news that I have. I will say this about Star Wars Acolyte, and I know I told you guys last week that I will not review this until after the series is over. I don't feel like spoiling anything for you if you have not seen it yet, and you're waiting until the whole thing comes out so you can stream it all at once. I know a lot of people don't like to go week to week to week. They just kind of wait until it's over with. I've done that with a few series, and it's worked out for me, but I think this has the potential of doing what I was expecting it to do, and I think this will help Star Wars into the future as far as storytelling. I know they have a Rey trilogy planned, and Daisy Ridley has talked about coming back to it. So obviously they've definitely gotten rid of the Rian Johnson trilogy that they were going to do, or maybe they'll have him come back. But I was not a Last Jedi fan. Rian Johnson is a tremendous director and writer. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he understood the whole thing of Star Wars. So I don't think that trilogy was going to work. However, I mean, who knows? We could always do that trilogy as a standalone trilogy, kind of like I don't know. You've got the DC universe, and you've got the better movies, which are not a part of the DC universe, like the Nolan trilogy that they had. It's Dark Knight. So there is that concept, But if Star Wars is going to continue to pump out stuff, I think it needs to do it kind of like now, where Marvel is now taking a step back and saying, you know what, we're going to go with quality over quantity. And we'll talk about that again in both my Star Wars specials and my Marvel special. Because I honestly think those two have been such a great thing for cinema, and I know that superhero genre, comic book fans are loving it, but I think superhero movies in general do so much for movie telling if they're told right. And there is a trailer I will drop next week. I teased it last week. I'm not going to do it this week. But there is a trailer for a movie that I was expecting at the end of this year that I thought maybe was going to be okay. I'm going to tell you right now, it looks absolutely terrible. My son's going to be disappointed in it, and I know why Sony now has pushed back Kraven the Hunter, because I think, again, I'm going to show this trailer next week, but it's the Venom trailer, the new one. My thoughts are Sony, and I've said this over and over again, Sony need to just drop the comic book thing. And I'll get into some of that next week I'll also get into it with the Marvel podcast that I'll do. That'll be just strictly Marvel. Uh, so look for all those as soon as I'm done getting through those. All right. So that being said, I did watch 3 movies. Two of them were on Netflix. Actually, yes, 2 of them were on Netflix. The other one was on Peacock, and we'll go through Unfrosted and Atlas and Night Swim. So Night Swim was out at the beginning of this year, and now it is on Peacock. This movie had a lot of potential. I'm going to tell you right now, the potential was wasted. Absolutely wasted. So it is the story of an ex-ball player who has a chronic muscle disease and is forced to retire, winds up going away from the spotlight, and now his family and him have to settle into life after baseball. And he's disappointed, obviously, with his degeneration and doing therapy, and he is told that by his doctors, pool therapy, if you can find a place with a pool, that might help, stop the muscle problems, because obviously hydrotherapy is real. A lot of the athletes nowadays use the hydrotherapy. When I had a pool when I was playing hoops during the summer, I did workouts in there. It wasn't a recovery pool, but I used to do little workouts in there, get a little stronger for jump shots and whatnot. You could see that it worked. Obviously, baseball players obviously use different muscles, so again, that's neither here nor there. So his family and him find this nice little house, and it's got this big giant pool. Well, so this pool has a very dark history. At the beginning of the movie, we see that the pool takes a life of a small little girl, and some 15 years later, we now have this family moving in. So after a few days of swimming in this pool, cleaning it out, making sure that it's good, his wife winds up swimming at night and realizes that there may be something wrong. She starts to have visions of him just kind of standing there with darkened eyes and saying things. Now she's a little suspicious that, oh my God, maybe there's a creeper, maybe in the neighborhood, or am I just seeing things? Now he's swimming in the pool, and nothing is happening to him. But there is something happening to him. He becomes part of this entity in the pool, where he now has no degeneration in his muscles, and now he's becoming stronger again. So as his family starts to do more swimming, they're starting to see, dead faces and, being pulled down by this entity that's in the pool. All right. So for a while, we just are like, wow, what is going on here? Like, why don't you just take the water out, and cover the pool? I mean, that would have been the logical choice in this regard. But for him, he was under this spell of whoever was down there, what entity wanted to make sure that the pool helped one, but he would take one. So as his powers grew, or his muscles came back, he was stronger than ever, and he felt like oh man, I can go back to playing baseball again. Meanwhile, his youngest son is being tortured by uh, visions, and he does not want to go back to the pool, and he just doesn't. And so eventually, the wife starts to, question, people around them, and of course, the realtor never said anything about a dead child 15 years ago. She did find it extremely, convenient not to tell them about. She was like, "Well, you guys left the house. I really didn't want to tell you." Well, duh. You don't want to tell somebody. That pool back there? Yeah, some little kid drowned 15 years ago. Well, she wasn't drowned because they never found a body. The body just disappeared. Like, so again, it's like, okay, so now we're off the deep end now. Literally deep end. Okay. Anyway, so this movie takes a turn where the wife finds the family from 15 years ago. The mother is possessed by the water that was in the pool. How this works, I have no idea. So again, this movie is just jumped into the deep end and goes down the drain. So the wife goes back. The son now is trapped inside the pool. Father is trying to stop the family from, his son being taken, because for him to keep his strength and the power that he has, somebody must die. And he just, threw his son in the pool, and that was pretty much it. So mercifully, this movie ends with the mother being able to go into the deep end of the pool and going through this, I don't want to say wormhole, but some kind of a hole that she finds all the missing people and stuff, where she embraces her son, brings him back. So the father has to make a decision, and he starts to, come around. His strength starts showing up, and he must make a choice. Either his son dies in power, or he dies and his son and family get to live. Pretty simple for me. I would have done the same thing. I would have taken my life. This movie pretty much took an hour and a half of my life, so thankfully it was over. And then they covered the pool. Again, if you just would have done that in the first place, the movie wouldn't have existed. So I guess. So this is definitely a one thumb down for me. Could have been two, but I found the characters a little bit interesting. So in that regard, and I thought the film, like I said, had potential. It wasn't a disaster it wasn't a disaster right away. So for me, definitely one thumbs down. So I don't think it's a watch. I would rather skip this one. If you have seen it already, comment if you need to. Then we get to Netflix. And Netflix had two movies that came out recently, Unfrosted and Atlas. I'm going to go through Unfrosted really quickly. Um, this is a movie about the rival cereal gangs, as they want to call themselves in this movie. The cereal companies back in 1963 were trying to be the first company to have a pastry. And so Post and Kellogg's were the two biggest factions of cereal back in the day. So these two had a race to see who could make a pastry Kellogg's was ahead of the game. Post figured out maybe we could undercut them by stealing some of their stuff. Post tried so hard to win this, but obviously Kellogg's end won the race. And this is just a comedic who's who. I mean, we're going to talk right now just main characters. Jim Gaffigan is the head of Kellogg's. Amy Schumer is the head of Post. You have Jerry Seinfeld. This is his writing and directing movie, but he was it was told from his perspective because he was the underling of Mr. Post. Melissa McCarthy was Jerry Seinfeld's right-hand person in Kellogg's. And again, there is so many comedians in this movie. It is just, I don't want to say it's overly funny. There was a lot of good scenes. But incorporating the Cuban Missile Crisis into, the war to win pastries or win breakfast, as they say, is just so far out there. And so they wanted to just make this fun, and it was fun. It's not overly funny again. You kind of have to like that kind of humor to enjoy the movie. I mean, they brought in like Jack Bourlain and Chef Boyardee and just everything from that time frame into this movie. Like I said, it's pretty funny. It's not over the top funny. So, but obviously, again, it was tongue in cheek about this. But again, it was a real rivalry between the two companies. And obviously, Kellogg's is the winner. There is a funny little scene where Hugh Grant is plays Tony the Tiger for the commercials. He leads a revolt of the mascots for the cereals. So Snap Crackle Pop, and it is just so out of control and weird. But it was worth a watch. So obviously my ranking system, I'm going to give this a nothing. So it's not a thumbs up. It's definitely not a thumbs down, but it's definitely right in the middle. So it would be a 3 out of 5 if you were going, through the number system. So I would recommend this movie. Again, it's not overly funny. Like, it's not just like a laugh riot all the way through. I'm not a big Amy Schumer fan. Really not. I don't find her overly funny. But there's so many comedians in this movie that are funny. But definitely check this out. So like I said, I'll give this a 3 out of 5. So I give this a watch. Okay, so finally, we're going to get to Atlas. So this movie had a lot of hype. I'm not sure why this was overly hyped. Let's just say Jennifer Lopez is really not an actress. She's done some really good things. She was really good in Selena back in the day. She's had some other movies that have been okay. But the most part, Jennifer Lopez has not been very good. Maybe it's just... No, I honestly don't think it's just me. So, Jennifer Lopez, I'm going to say right now, could be an early Razzie nominee for Worst Actress for this movie. So, this movie, again, the trailer looks pretty decent, but you have to take it in mind, Jennifer Lopez is the star of this movie. So take that with a grain of salt. So, her character is a brilliant data analyst who is distrusting of AI. Kind of weird, isn't it? Because talking about futuristic times, we were talking about AI generated robots, cybots, whatever you want to call it. But she distrusts them. She does not, neural link them whatsoever. It's just a bad concept. Think iRobot, Pacific Rim, Terminator 3, and Starship Troopers. You meld those all together, and you've got combinations of those movies in this movie. And there's other movies, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. I actually kind of wrote all these notes down, and I'm like, I just can't. I can't pinpoint more sci-fi than this. But think iRobot in the sense of AI turning against humans. Terminator 3, same thing. Skynet goes online, starts killing millions of people. Now introduce Starship Troopers, where you've got this plot now by the humans to go to a planet 25 years after this rogue group of cybernetic organisms go to this planet. So think Starship Troopers in the fact of, and if you haven't seen the movie, I'm sorry, but I'm going to ruin it for you. So in Starship Troopers, they go to this home planet Q, where there's this brain bug. Okay, brain bug. So they get ambushed right away. So they're on, this mission. They've got all these super badass Marines, and they're ambushed right away. So the only survivor is Jennifer Lopez's character, who is not a soldier. Again, we're already off. We're already off the rails here already. Like, it's just bad. So now she's in this Pacific Rim kind of module, and she doesn't know how to use it. She's trying to get the AI to work. She can't trust the AI, but eventually she has to, or she's going to die. Again, stop me now. Just, this is terrible. It's just terrible. The special effects are really good. It's definitely a sci-fi, worthy movie because of the visual effects. The story is absolutely just awful because the reason why she doesn't trust AI is because her mother created this cybernetic human who was supposed to be her brother and supposed to be her protector. Obviously, there was an accident, and he went nuts, and her mother kills herself because of it. And again, we're just grasping at straws here at this point. Why this film was even made? Netflix has had some really good movies come down the pipe. They've got more coming out, but this one is definitely 2 thumbs down for me. It's not watchable, or it is if you're a sci-fi junkie, where you like the big explosions, where you like all this stuff with AI generated things. But again, think iRobot, Pacific Rim, Terminator 3, Starship Troopers, and think turn these into bad movies, and this is what you get. Because iRobot, I thought was really, really good. I thought Pacific Rim was very fascinating, even though probably not on my go-to list. Terminator 3, slaps Terminator 2 in the face a little bit. And after that, obviously, the timelines get all messed up and everything else. So Terminator 3 was definitely okay. Starship Troopers was actually a very fun movie. Didn't take itself too seriously, although you know, Doogie Howser as the main leader of this military squad from Earth. It's just I don't know. I don't know. But take all four of those movies, put them all together as a bad movie. Turn them, twist them, make them all bad. And this is what you get for Atlas. Just straight up garbage. So those are my reviews for this week. So Unfrosted, definitely worth a watch. Not overly funny, not overly bad. Atlas, definitely 2 thumbs down. Not watchable unless you like that kind of stuff. Night Swim, 1 thumbs down. Again, the characters were very interesting. The concept started out okay, and then we wind up in the deep end. Just absolutely abominable. So, yeah. Okay, well, that's it for this week. This weekend, obviously, is Father's Day weekend, so there's only one movie that's going to drop this weekend. It's Inside Out 2. Inside Mind of Riley again. I said last week, and I think I might have mentioned it before. This movie coming out so much later than the original doesn't have, for me, doesn't have the excitement. Maybe for the kids. And again, looking at the box office with Garfield doing so well, and If actually doing so well, this movie may do a lot of business. You know what? Maybe I'm going to throw a number out there. Let's see if it works. I will come back next week's show and, own up to it if I'm wrong. But I'll be incorrigible if I'm right. I think this movie makes over 30 million. I think it could be number one, as much as I am not hyped about it. Because again, George is now 15. It was, a movie we watched together when it came out. I thought it was very interesting, and I will see it eventually, probably when it gets to streaming. But I think it could make 30 million, and I think it could be number one. So that's my prediction: 30 million, over 30 million, number one. Mark it down. Then the following 2 weekends have some very interesting movies. I will talk about those more next week. I will also drop trailers for both, and for the YouTube side. And like I said, I want to thank you guys all for the YouTube side of it. A lot of these got a lot of views because once Buzzsprout put up the later ones, obviously the earlier ones, people started listening to them, and I appreciate it immensely. So continue to get the word out there. I'm hoping that even with Boston, even if I do not get to interview anybody, and I'm really hoping that somebody will respond to me about it, I would really hope that maybe by November, when we get to Rhode Island Comic Con, that this will have taken off a lot more. You get the word out there. You continue to listen, continue to support this podcast. I think maybe we might be able to get more guests on to this program. And again, I've got somebody that is going to come onto this program, and I'm really excited about that. And she actually has volunteered to. This again, we've corresponded before, and I really think she's so talented. So hopefully next week we'll have shot the interview. I'm not going to do interviews live just yet. I still very hesitant as to figure out how to do that. So obviously with this person, I'll get my feet wet with it. And then maybe another one with somebody from Boston. And again, if it doesn't happen, just getting the media credentials was a big step in the right direction for this podcast. So again, I'll be shooting B-roll, and I'll be taking photographs, and I'll get to meet the people that I want to meet. I'll be getting autographs, just like I would if I was going to be there. But being a part of the media thing is pretty impressive. Speaking of which, before I go, I did go to the Greg Hill Morning Show, a morning show that I listen to on the radio on my way to work. It is because I listen to sports. I don't listen to music, so I know, shoot me. But the show had a road show, and they were at the Springfield Basketball Hall of Fame. So I went on this road show, and like I said last week, they had a segment called Guest Leads, and I did a guest lead there, and it was good. It did not win the guest lead prize. That's fine. I wasn't worried about that. But it was a lot of fun to meet them, see the behind the scenes of the radio show, and they were just very, very nice people. And that interview or that segment is on the Odyssey app. You can get your podcast. If you want to go listen to the segments, I'm not recommending you do that. But it's the Greg Hill Morning Show on the Odyssey app on WEEI in Boston, 93.7. You can go to last Fridays. You can open up the podcast. You can go to the spot where it says guest leads. I believe it's around 7:20 in the morning. I don't remember. It was either 7:20 or 7:40. I don't know. But I played it back. I was telling Ashley I thought I was stuttering too much, and actually when I listened to it back, I really wasn't. Although I was in between a lot of thoughts. I think you also, as you hear me talk a lot of times, and now you get to see me on YouTube after 2 episodes here, you can see that I have a lot of thoughts, and I could just talk for hours, but I don't want to do that to you people, because I already do that to Ashley and my family. It's a lot. So, with that being said, looking at the time now, it's time for me to go. So again, I want to thank you guys very much for listening, and obviously now watching on YouTube. I will have a good weekend. I know that because again, I'm going to get to spend time with George, and I'm going to get to spend time with Ashley and AJ at the con on Sunday, and it's going to be an exciting weekend. So also go Celts. I know this is not a sports one, but they're up 2-0, and I'm looking forward to maybe going to the Parade Duck Boats in Boston when they do win. That being said, I will see you at the movies.
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.